I remember, like, I went to the Museum of Medical Oddities in Philadelphia, and they were doing a whole thing on dysentery. And it was like, oh, most people in the Civil War died of that.
Yeah.
They didn't die of like wounds. And it was like wild that, of course, if you were a soldier today, you don't die of dysentery. That's insane.
Right.
But they would put the kitchen near the toilet, and it was like,
And what kind of water are you drinking?
and water and all that shit. So
there's no iodine tablets back then.
Yeah.
No SteriPens to
yeah.
clean your water.
What's the one I used? I did the Appalachian Trail last year, not all
Did
of
you
it,
really?
just a few days. And I forget the thing I would filter the water with. It was great. Man, there's such cool stuff like that now.
Oh, yeah, there's
I mean,
great
millions of those things.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that'll filter water and make it drinkable.
And there's all these cool Appalachian Trail communities that leave stuff for people along the trail.
Oh, that's
so it's
cool.
like, I remember I was just like dying. I'm like, no more snacks. Blood sugar's dropping. I have water, but it's just like, I'm in it. I'm doing the difficult thing. And then you get to this cooler and it's like, from this Appalachian Trail Club, and it's just like gummy bears in there.
Oh, nice.
Jesus Christ, man.
Nice. That's cool. That's cool that they have that set up.
Yeah.
Well, it's a weird thing to choose to do, to go for a long walk.
That doesn't
On a
appeal to
trail
you?
filled
That
with
doesn't-
serial killers.
That is, I mean, there are some famous murders that have happened on the
Yeah.
Appalachian Trail, but
Yeah.
I felt very safe.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea. I was alone. I love the idea of finding a place to sleep that's in the middle of nowhere. I love that shit.
Dude, I'd be super nervous. Something about the woods.
Really?
The woods are dangerous at night.
Here's
With
what's
people.
here's what's crazy about the Appalachian Trail, at least where I was in Jersey. Most of the time, I had cell service.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like in my tent,
On
answering
Instagram.
texts, and I'm no,
That
but,
is kinda
But you know
crazy.
what? You know what started that for me was during COVID. My wife got me. My wife.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea. I was alone. I love the idea of finding a place to sleep that's in the middle of nowhere. I love that shit.
Dude, I'd be super nervous. Something about the woods.
Really?
The woods are dangerous at night.
Here's
With
what's
people.
here's what's crazy about the Appalachian Trail, at least where I was in Jersey. Most of the time, I had cell service.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like in my tent, answering
Instagram.
texts, and I'm no,
That
but
is kinda
But you know
crazy.
what? You know what started that for me was during COVID. My wife got me this week with Jordan Jonas in the survival. Jordan Jonas won
He's
alone.
been on the podcast.
Yeah, been on the podcast.
He's been on the podcast
Yeah, that's
before,
right.
yeah.
Right.
One lost. Shot a moose with a bow and arrow.
And I think he killed a wolverine with his
With a hatchet.
Yeah, with a hatchet.
Was stealing his meat.
So my wife bought me a week with this survival camp with him and a bunch of other people, and it was just like one of the conclusions I and we came to while we were up in the Bitterroot Mountains of Idaho was at least once a year we all need to be doing something where we are embedded with nature. And this might sound silly to somebody who goes hunting or someone who's already doing this, but if you're living a city life,
yeah.
going to the park is not really experiencing nature.
Well, it is a little. It's
Tiny bit.
It's nature. I mean, it's contained nature, but it's real nature. You see squirrels and birds. It's good for you.
There's
it's good for you to
ticks.
sit under a tree.
Hell
There's
yeah.
ticks. There are ticks.
There are ticks, man. Ticks
There's
are
fleas,
wild.
Ticks. Your dog's going to get fleas. Yeah, ticks are a bitch, especially on the East Coast because of Lyme disease,
Yeah.
which turns out was man-made.
What?
Turns out there's a lot of real evidence that Lyme disease was weaponized and that it leaked out of a lab, and it came out of a lab called Plum Island,
Oh, shit.
which was close to Lyme, Connecticut. And RFK Jr. firmly believes that this was a weapons program. And what they were going to do is develop these fleas and ticks with a disease that spreads rapidly, wipes out the medical system of a community, so you could dump
Shit.
them from a plane. Everybody gets infected, overwhelms their medical system, and then they're more vulnerable if you want to attack them.
That just doesn't seem very thought through, though.
Oh, there's some less thought through ones. There's one that they were developing at one point in time. I don't know where they got with it, but there was talk of them developing a bomb that they would detonate over cities that would blind everybody.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine you detonate that, and then you have 300,000 blind people.
Isn't it amazing what we can do in a positive light and also what we can do in a negative light?
Oh, we're scary. And we're scary in our ability to justify these things.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's really crazy.
Yeah.
We're scary in our ability to decide that these people are the other, so we should bomb them into oblivion. And like, yeah, we're winning. Like, oh my God. Like, what are you talking about? You don't even know those people.
The other is a effective strategy.
Well, it's built into our tribal
brains.
mindset.
Is that right?
Yeah. We had Daryl Cooper on the podcast yesterday, who runs a podcast called Martyr Made, and one of the things he talked about was oxytocin, and he was like, it's really interesting because oxytocin makes you really deeply love your family and your community, and this is what women get when they have children, and men get, and when you're in love, and this, but it also makes you very hostile to outsiders.
Crazy.
It's like it protects the people that you love and that are vulnerable, but it makes you very protective of the outside. So like you are less likely to trust strangers, less likely to trust other people.
And it probably served an enormously benefit. It was probably very beneficial.
In the caveman days, you had to have it.
Yeah.
You had to have it. There was no friendly people coming over with spears. You know, they found you and you had women and food, like you're fucked.
Right.
And that was most of our evolutionary existence. Most of the time, from leaving the savannas and, you know, experimenting with different foods and becoming human beings, we were fighting.
And that's got to be undone as long as it took to make that, which is a very long time.